The loss of Rabbi Chaim Gutnick in October 2003 left Australian Jewry mourning and was also felt in the non-Jewish community. Who was this man that exerted such influence? Rabbi Chaim Gutnick was a life force that helped transform the Jewish community of Melbourne. His was a force for life and learning. His was a voice that stirred their souls. His was an ear that listened to them so they could hear the truth in themselves. And his was a heart that cried with them, that loved them, and that showed them how to enrich their lives and their faith. Two events shaped Rabbi Chaim Gutnick and were the impetus behind everything he did in his lifetime: the Holocaust and the creation of the State of Israel.
I have rued the day that I was born in this world to witness this, the Holocaust. Those events have obsessed my emotions, my feelings, and my thoughts. But what it did for me was that I decided then and there that I was going to devote my life to what is called the survivors. When the call came from a congregation here in Melbourne, I decided to throw everything overboard and to give my life and service to them. And I must tell you that their needs, their desires were paramount in my service. I could have got positions overseas, but like a magnet, they kept me here in Melbourne because this was a center where survivors had come.
More survivors came to Melbourne than to any other city in the world outside Israel. They arrived with shattered lives and broken faith. Rabbi Chaim Gutnick's empathy towards them was so strong it was remedial.
I had the feeling that it was his life's ambition to help survivors. He accepted every survivor, whether he was a man or a woman, religious or not religious. They were all equally important to him. Equally, they were given a sense of meaning and a sense of importance. So we were given a sense of achievement as well. Just to have survived, he deemed an achievement. Chaim Gutnick gave us hope for the future. In a way, I saw in Chaim a prophet. He lamented together with us the destruction of our people, but then he prophesied a bright future. And this gave us hope and gave us energy and inspiration to go on and continue.
Eva Slonim created this Kaddish room at the Holocaust Museum in Melbourne because of a solemn promise she had made when she was only 14 and in Auschwitz.
I made this eternal promise to a young boy who was taken away for medical experiments. He was a boy of about 9. And when he was taken away, he came up to me and he made me promise that I will say Kaddish after him. And I carried that burden for 50 odd years.
In dedicating this room, Rabbi Chaim Gutnick was able to give her and other survivors a new way of understanding the Kaddish prayer.
Any Jewish person, wherever he is, whether he's observant or not, whether he realizes it or not, his existence, being a member of an ancient people and an ancient faith, his existence testifies to Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. And when one of those people disappears, there is one less witness in the world. When 6 million disappear, darkness besets the world and humanity. Those who say Kaddish say to the world, you may have wanted to destroy the name of Hashem from the world. It will not help you. Because my father may have fallen, but I, his son, will take his place.
But how did Rabbi Chaim Gutnick, in the depths of his heart, come to terms with the tragedies that befell him and the Jewish people?
Though I have questions, though I ask why, though I am troubled, God will not shake me from my belief. Yesh balabayis b'dirosu. There is a mastermind that leads this world. Everything has its reason, everything has its place. Even though I don't understand it, I accept it. That is the faith of my forefathers that has been imbued into my blood. That is the faith of Jewish people. We accept what the Almighty has ordained.
The other great passion in Rabbi Chaim Gutnick's life was Israel. The JNF, the UIA, and other Jewish organizations all knew that he would strengthen and inspire any efforts they made for Israel. He was tireless in his efforts for Israel, and tireless he had to be.
And at that time there were 43 Landsmannschaften. So each one wanted their own function, so we had to have 43 functions. And Chaim Gutnick and I would visit night after night.
Rabbi Chaim Gutnick also supported the creation of Jewish day schools in Melbourne. Moriah College, a feeder school for Mount Scopus, was set up on the grounds of Elwood Synagogue. Rabbi Chaim Gutnick enjoyed a close and special relationship with the Lubavitcher Rebbe. He was devoted to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe loved him. The previous Rebbe, Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak Schneerson, had instructed Chaim to stay in Australia and accept his mission to help the survivors who would come. His successor, Rebbe Menachem Mendel Schneerson, was to see the fulfillment of this mission. This Rebbe was also to see a new generation of observant Jews and Torah scholars being raised in Australia.
And my comfort is that just as he foretold the tragic events of what is occurring now, I also believe and hope he's foretelling the good things that are going to happen, are going to come true in our lifetime.
For over 45 years, Rabbi Chaim Gutnick was, amongst other roles, spiritual leader of the Elwood Talmud Torah congregation, president of the Rabbinical Council of Victoria, and one of the founders of the Rabbinical College of Australia. Chaim Gutnick was a driving force in creating the vital religious institutions and way of life that he remembered from his father's house and from his time in the Yeshiva of Telz in Lithuania. During the Second World War, he had to flee Lithuania to the Far East, and he arrived alone in Australia in 1940. Within 2 years of arriving, he volunteered to join the Australian Army. Later, he was to serve as Jewish chaplain of the armed forces in Victoria. Chaim married Rose Chester in 1945. They were married for 47 years, had 6 children, many grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Speaking at his son Mordechai's bar mitzvah, Joseph Gutnick could refer to this extended family with pride.
And to you, the bar mitzvah boy, you have to learn from your father and your mother, and from my parents, my father and my mother, and from your mother's father and mother, and from your whole family, and from previous generations.
Normal, a 3-year-old kid to run the whole family. So what we decided to do, like the Samson of old, we invited you all, and we cut his hair off, and he became a normal little child.
When Rose was killed in a car accident in New York in 1992, Chaim was devastated.
There is no greater tribute to pay to her than to say she was my wife, my partner in life. She was the mother of my children, and I am half a man because of her loss. I accept the judgment of Almighty God, but I would just like a couple of minutes, not a couple of minutes, just 15 seconds, to be able to see my wife and say to her just a simple few words. Rosie, the children and I love you, and we miss you. I know it's silly, and I know it will not come about. If you want to honor her, then I tell you sincerely, which is the way to honor her. Those of you who are here, whom God has blessed till 120 and further, to have your husbands or wives with you. Don't put off till tomorrow what you can say to them today. You know, somebody will say, what do you expect of us? Every day to go and tell my wife? Or every day to tell my husband, I love you? Why not? Why wait only for special occasions? Why not on a Wednesday morning ring up your wife from your office and out of the blue for no reason whatsoever, accepting that you know the moment is going to come when you will not be able to say it to her anymore?
He touched every fiber in my body with his magnificent speeches, with his analytical mind, his tolerance, his understanding, and at the same time, his friendship. He could come down to any level and he could rise to any level. He was your friend and he was your guide, and he was approachable.
We've all heard great orators, but he had something there that I say it could only come from the Almighty. I had an enormous admiration for him, and he returned it with a tremendous warmth towards me. But I don't think I've ever met anyone that left such a strong impression on me.
Even in the midst of his loss, Chaim Gutnick was able to transform tragedy into a plea for love.
Why can't we appreciate the great gift that God has given us, the greatest gift, life, and utilize it, not waste it, and utilize it to the full, to appreciate our spouses, to respect our parents, to cause friendship between each other, instead of discord and